It's the Tell Me Something Good podcast.
Because we believe that there is still good in the world.
Hi, I'm Lori Gray.
And I'm Rob Joe. We talk about the good things happening at Christ United Methodist Church here in Greensboro, North Carolina.
And we have a little fun, too.
We're so glad you're here.
Rojo, you ready?
Yeah, let's get this show on the road.
Or podcast.
Yes, let's get this podcast on the road.
Well, hello, Rojo.
Good afternoon, Lori Gray. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's a good day to have a good day and a podcast.
And it's a good day for Pastor Morris to be back with us on the podcast.
I mean, he wore us down. Here we are. He finally got to be back on here.
Greetings and salutations.
Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be here?
Thrilled. Glad to be here.
You look like you're really excited to be
I
here.
am. I'm excited to be here.
It's
know.
a mid-afternoon slump.
I
We've
know
all got it going on.
this is when we should always record the podcast at this time, because this is when I get sleepy. But now I'm not sleepy.
Siesta, yes.
Yeah, I'm not sleepy. Okay, so before we get into the meat of the podcast, why don't we talk about our something good for this past week?
Yeah, so I'll tell you my something good real quick. We received a large U-Haul full of donations from Virginia Beach last week, and our staff took a couple hours, honestly, to load it, or to offload everything, and then from there we ended up sorting everything, and it was just a lot of fun to, not only be together as a staff, but just to be doing something that was productive and something that will benefit our brothers and sisters in Western North Carolina.
Yeah, that was a huge undertaking. I don't think we knew how much stuff we were getting. It was a lot.
It was a ton.
Yeah, and so anyway, it was a fun team building experience. So, all right, mine is.
Yeah, tell us.
It's fun because we went and played Topgolf.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was my first time going to Topgolf, and I loved it so much.
Well, Pastor Morse is really the only staff member that plays regularly. So
he's the whole reason we went.
Buffoons looked like buffoons.
Yeah, he just stepped right up and could knock the crap out of the ball, and the rest of it.
He hit it one time. I think Amy, Susan, and I all three jumped into each other's arms like Scooby-Doo. That's with Shaggy.
Whack! Yeah, so we, since he is the golfer in the group,
yes,
it was just so he could feel really good.
But actually, Pastor Nikki won one of the matches.
She beat Pastor Morris by a landslide in one of the games we played.
Yes.
So little
you should
known
have
fact,
her on the podcast.
Well, little known fact about Nikki is that she played softball.
Yes.
In her previous life.
She did.
So that's why she can play golf too. So I guess, I don't know if it translates. Does it translate? Well, you played baseball.
I did, yeah.
So one of the jokes that was made was like, oh, just imagine that ball's someone's head. So whose head were you imagining?
Probably mine. And yours. We took turns.
That's why he hit it so hard.
Probably. Okay. What was your something good for the week? Did we take it?
No, my something good for the week. All Saints Sunday, one of my favorite Sundays of the year. It's a bittersweet Sunday.
Sure.
Because we remember those that we've lost, but it's also really a celebratory high holy day where we give God thanks for the gift of their lives and that they've returned to God and they are safe, and we'll see them again one day. Yeah. So it's a great day.
It was a great day. Yeah, and that they are safe. I love that they are safe.
Well, and I've seen, plenty of All Saints services in my lifetime, but never have I seen it done as well as Christ Church does it. Just like with the bell ringing and the lighting of the candle, like all the different components of how they do it at 11 o'clock is just really powerful.
Yeah, I think that y'all do a great job with All Saints. Now, Rojo just said in his lifetime.
That takes off about 3 years, right?
Hey,
yeah.
It's no less valuable.
Okay.
All 29 years of
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, so coming up this week is, we're recording this on Monday. So tomorrow is the election. Mm-hmm. And so we have the Prayers of the People stations in our sanctuary.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we asked Pastor Morris to be on the podcast today is because we're so divided in this country, and we need to get back to recognizing whose we are. And people, I was listening to a podcast recently, Carey Nieuwhof, I'm going to drop a name, and he was saying that one of the reasons we're so divided is because our identity is wrapped up in the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And so whether it's wrapped up in your other person or your children or what kind of car you have or the neighborhood you live in or your political party, that we identify with that instead of identifying as a child of God or as someone who has a divine spark, which came from Pastor Morris, because I had to go ask him. I wanted to ask him, like, how do I approach someone who may not be, I mean, they may be Christian, but they may not be, like, just super religious, and so how do I approach them, or even someone of another religion, like how do we approach them and have that conversation? And he gave me that divine spark term, that everybody has a divine spark.
I love it.
Yeah, it's not original with me. It
Well-
comes from Meister Eckhart, who was a 14th century mystic. But yeah, it's the idea that we all have this divine spark, that we're created in the image of God. There's like a fingerprint of God in every human being. And there's nothing we can do that can change that. It is ultimately who we are. And all the other stuff that you were talking about, that Carey Nieuwhof was talking about, you know, our political positions, our clothing, our jobs, our education, all those things are containers. That's kind of our outward self, our persona that we put on the world. But who everybody ultimately is in their innermost being is a child of God, is that divine spark. And so once you get beyond all of that, and that's a process, then you can begin to respect people in spite of whatever political stance they have, whatever job they have, whatever their ethnicity, whatever.
Sure.
You look at their innermost self, and that's why, you know, we're all connected, because we're all part of the divine that created us.
And we've all been given special gifts that complement each other.
Right.
If we all were just alike, it would be so boring.
Exactly.
Unless we were all like Pastor Morris, that would not be boring.
No, it would be so
Actually,
fun.
It would be pretty boring.
Well, because we'd have to watch Wheel every night.
That's true.
And I don't really like Wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, Wheel's fine, but yeah. So I think that message, we wanted you on here because that message needs to get out there and to our one listener or two. I don't know. I think we have two, right?
We're in the double digits now.
Oh, are we? Okay. Well, that's good. But hopefully they'll listen and they'll share. But with this, you know, the election coming up tomorrow, this is going to be a hard week for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And is there any advice you can give us this week? Or, Rojo, you got any advice to get us through? And, I mean, like for me, I know there's no celebration either way. Like this is just an
Right.
election. I'm not identifying with, like, this is just part of what we do in this country, and I'm going to
Sure.
wake up and do what I normally do. I'm going to come to work, and I'm going to laugh a lot, and I'm going to eat a bunch of chocolate, which is what I've been doing since Halloween. But do you have any advice for us this week, or for anybody listening on how to?
Well, I mean, I would say, however the elections turn out, and they're going to turn out, for some folks are going to be happy with the results, some folks are not going to be happy, but ultimately everything's temporal. And you know, we're coming up on Christ the King Sunday, which is the last Sunday of the Christian year, and one of the themes of Christ the King Sunday is that ultimately love wins,
Sure.
light wins, and so as difficult as it may be, whoever our leaders might be and however we might agree or disagree with them, and whatever that may create, the chaos it may create in our country, I have to believe that ultimately, you know, we're in God's hands, and as St. Julian of Norwich said, all is well and all shall be well. And so we just have to kind of trust in that and do our best to be a beacon of light where we are in our kind of sphere of influence.
Yeah, it gets hard though sometimes, like to do that. I think I just have to turn the TV off. That's my.
Oh yeah.
You know, you got to turn the TV off, and I also can't remember where I heard this, but they said to stop watching the news to read about it, because then you don't have the images that that they show on the news, and then you can process it a lot easier, and it's not as stressful.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's just going to be there are going to be parts of the week that are going to be difficult, but there's going to be some good things that happen this week too. we have, just getting away from election talk now, we have Welcome Wednesday coming up. We
do.
only have a few more of those. The last one is the 23rd, I think.
Yeah, Wednesday
Yes.
before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we have some new classes that have started, and I love Welcome Wednesday because there's a lot of fellowship that goes on. We need to work
We
on.
need to make sure we sit with somebody. Nobody should sit alone at Welcome Wednesday.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
friend.
Leaning
Make
into
a
the
friend.
welcome part, right?
Right.
Hospitable, to be welcoming,
Right.
all throughout the week, not just Sundays, on
That's
Wednesdays as well.
That's right.
Yeah, I hope, like in my life, I hope that I'm the same. Like when you see me on Sunday morning and I'm running around and happy and having fun, that when you see me out in my, running errands and just being my regular self, that I'm the same person. Like I will, I try to be that same person.
Right.
So, and again, on Wednesday nights, and I know that's part of my job is connections, but I think that may be part of one of the gifts that I have. At least the spiritual gifts assessment told me it was. So
Right.
hospitality. So, and we all need to be consistent with that. So,
Right.
anyway.
And I think sometimes we're shy about sharing hospitality with somebody. We're shy about sitting down with somebody that we don't know. So maybe to have a set of questions that we ask, conversation starters. Hey, where are you from? What was your favorite thing to do as a kid? Questions like that, open-ended, that can start conversations can be real helpful because it's, sometimes a little scary to sit down with folks you don't know well.
Did you collect Beanie Babies when you were a kid?
I did not, Robert. I
What
did
did you
not.
collect as a
Beanie
child?
Babies had not been invented when I was a child.
No.
No.
Just Raggedy
And
Ann.
I'm a child of the
Andy?
60s.
Holly Hobby.
I don't even think Holly Hobby had been invented.
She was my time.
Pastor Morris rubbed two sticks together.
Yes,
Oh, but Rojo collected Beanie Babies.
he did.
I had all kinds of Beanie Babies
Yes.
as a kid. That's why I'm asking.
And
What kind of things did you collect as a kid?
Star Wars characters.
As
Oh
a kid?
gosh. As a
Yeah.
It
kid,
started young.
I had
Okay.
Matchbox cars too.
Okay.
I did. I had a whole case of Matchbox cars and a case of Star Wars figures.
now Hot Wheels were big when I was a kid.
Yeah, I had some
I had
Hot Wheels.
Wheels.
And then my brother was born and he got old enough and he took them all. So,
Yeah.
and then he broke my Luke Skywalker, his lightsaber.
But look, that was the most organic conversation, and we all talked and participated.
But wait, I have a question. Where did you keep your Beanie Babies?
Oh.
Come on,
Really?
Rojo.
I knew that I had
Please.
OCD when I was a child because they all lined the edge of my red race car bed.
Oh,
Is that funny that I'm being vulnerable with y'all?
thank you so much for sharing that. I was waiting. I was
No.
waiting patiently for Pastor Morris to say something. I was holding it in. I didn't want to call you out, but you called yourself out.
Well, before we moved, when I was like 3 or 4, we lived pretty close to the Four Seasons Mall. So we would go up to the mall every so often. And as an only child at the time, I would get like a little Disney store beanie, like an off-brand Beanie Baby, but like a Disney brand one. And I had all what we now know as dwarfs, but I called them dwarfs at the time. So I had all my 7 dwarfs lining my bed every night, and if they were not there, could not go to sleep. My
They were
parents should have
watching
known
over
then.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They were your favorite.
yeah.
That's so fun.
I mean, there were lots of favorites, but the 7 dwarfs were my favorite.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have Snow White? Was she there too? Or you just had the...
She might have been out in the fields collecting.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing about your red
Thank
race
you for
car
giving me
bed.
space to do so.
You're welcome. You just shared with everyone. So,
Well, I'll also share about the Advent Workshop that's coming up.
oh yeah.
So November the 24th, which is in just a few weeks, we are hosting yet again our Advent Workshop, and it'll be from 2 to 4 p.m. in the gym. So the cost per person is $7, and there's a $25 family max.
So I just saw the crafts for that, and I'm
yeah.
going to tell you what, I am so excited.
They're going to be good.
Yeah, the
I'm
little
paying my $7
button
and taking
trees
myself there.
and the painting of the women of Christmas.
Yes.
Pastor Morris, do you like crafts?
I am not a crafty person.
Yes, but you can craft a good sermon.
I do my best.
You can craft a good sermon. I'll say it again.
That's Pastor Morse's favorite thing when we have our staff meetings and somebody's in charge of a devotion. They come in and they go, okay, we're going to craft today. And he was like, I'm out. I'm leaving.
Often Crystal walks in with like a bucket of crayons under her arm.
Yeah, and some glitter.
Yes.
So, but it'll be fun. Yeah, we've seen the crafts already, and actually we're going to be posting about that on social media in the next couple of days. So you'll
Yeah,
have to
so
check
check
that
it out. Yeah, anything that we've, well, not obviously all the election stuff we were talking about, you can't see on our website. You'll have to rewind and listen again. But if you're interested in the Advent Workshop or learning more about our church, you can visit our website at christgreensboro.org. Or
Yeah, and if you have any specific questions, you can reach out to us via email, and that email address is info@christgreensboro.org.
And there's a lot more going on, of course, as we get into that season of Advent. We have lots of events. We have Christ Kids Christmas coming up in December, and then our candlelight service, and then, of course, our Christmas Eve services. So we'll be talking a whole lot more about all of those things.
Did you tell everybody about our worship series for Advent?
Oh,
We should.
It's
Why
called,
don't you tell them?
It's called The Women of Christmas.
Yeah. So explain more.
So we're looking at, there are women in all of the gospel stories that God used to bring about the birth of Christ. So each week we're going to take one of those women's or one of those stories and focus on that because women often get overlooked in the story. So the first week we're going to look at, there's 4 women in Matthew chapter 1 in the
Genealogy.
In the genealogy. And so we're going to look at those 4 women the first week. That would be Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, and Bathsheba.
Okay.
And then the second week, we're going to take a look at Mary, who everybody looks at Christmas. Then we're going to talk about Elizabeth, Mary's cousin. And then the Sunday before Christmas, the fourth Sunday of Advent, we're going to be talking about the midwives. And it's a character that's not mentioned in Scripture, but Pastor Nikki is going to take that approach and do a great job with that. So
teaser for Pastor Nikki.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
That makes me want to show up to work every week.
I know,
Doesn't
just to learn all the things.
No, truly, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does.
To learn about.
Yeah, and we're starting a new sermon series or worship series this coming Sunday.
Wisely.
Wisely, because guess what time it is? It's generosity time, my favorite time of the year. So we talked about generosity last week, so we won't talk about it again, but Wisely is starting this week. What's our first topic?
Our first topic is how to use your time wisely.
Oh, I need
It's a
help
gift
with that.
everybody has that many times we don't use very wisely.
I don't use my time wisely,
I feel like
mainly
there's
on the
like
weekends.
a good proverb in there somewhere.
Yes. There's a good Chinese proverb that we'll be talking about this Sunday.
Ah,
Well, don't spoil the fun.
Yes.
You'll have to show up on Sunday and hear it.
yeah, that's
good.
right. Okay, I think we've taken up probably enough of your time, maybe?
Yeah, I think we
Are
are
we good?
set for this week. We've given you all the information that we have, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next week.
Next week, yep. And be safe this week. Share your light and your love. And we look forward to talking to you next week. And stop by our website, christgreensboro.org. Or like Rob said, email us at info@christgreensboro.org. Or, better yet, come see us in person at 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. on Sunday mornings. And Rob and I are always here most of the time.
Yeah.
95% of the time we're here on Sundays. So we'd love to meet you in person.
And thanks to Pastor Morris for joining us again. And
It's an honor, Pastor Morris, to have
Thanks
you
for
on the
having me.
podcast
Thanks
again.
for having me. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, bye everybody.
See y'all.
Have a good one.